Alex, this has to be a one-take wonder, so don't you dare mess up.
Oh no! This is wait. Can I just say
No
actually
pressure.
on mine and Grace's third podcast, we did like 2 truths and a lie, and one of the stories I told was just so inappropriate. But then, like, to take the whole thing out, it was 2 truths and a lie, so we had to like, and so just like it was, we spent so long having to edit it and make it sound okay.
Oh,
So one take wonder is not a thing that I'm good at.
Oh, we have this ongoing thing with improvisation, don't we? Me and Alex.
Oh.
By the way, guys, welcome to Sister Business.
Woo!
Woo!
hello.
Sister Business.
Maybe for this week's episode, we'll actually get Alex to record it on his snowball and send us the intro.
Absolutely. I'll orchestrate it. It'll be this whole production.
That would be so funny. They'll be like, whose voice is this?
No, I sound just like you, Ash. I don't know what you're talking about.
True. So, Alex, we went to drama school together. We went to college together. We've been friends for a very long time.
Too long, some might say.
Yeah, too long. And recently you started a small business, which we'll get into. You're a performer, you're a creative person. You also love fashion. You've always been very fashion conscious.
Yeah. Keep going, Ash. What else am I?
So we thought you'd be a fabulous guest on our podcast.
Aww. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
No,
virtually.
Yeah, virtually, of course.
Yeah.
So, tell us, Alex, what your 2020 was gonna look like. What did you have, in place before everything went tits up?
2020, I was going to be rich. I was going to be married. I'm going to have the big house in the burbs, with the baby, the garden, and the garden of herbs, No, I was supposed to start Kinky Boots on Norwegian cruises, literally the day that we went into lockdown. I just realised I just did drag earlier today, and you can still see loads of my eyeshadow on my eyes.
Oh, well, we wanted to ask you about your drag career, but again, we'll get into that.
Okay, sorry, jumping ahead. So I was on the day we went into lockdown. I don't know if you know this, Amy. I was supposed to start the job literally on the 23rd of March. I was supposed to be in Florida.
Oh my.
Sunbathing, rehearsing. Alas. Sunbathing first and then
Who
rehearsing.
told you you were allowed to sunbathe?
In his contract.
Yeah. I had it written in, yeah, exactly. And so that would have taken me to September. It's so crazy that I would have already done that, and although I guess that novelty's kind of worn off. When September came around, it was like I was supposed to be back by now.
Yeah,
but
me and you had the exact same embarkation date.
Yeah,
like the same date that we fly out and the same date that we come back. It was madness.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
We're gonna be off cruising together. Time of our lives.
What's happened with that? Did that just get cancelled? Is it not coming back now then?
No, it is coming back. So the contract's still there. It's still going to happen. I just don't know when. They've been keeping us updated kind of every month, but the update is usually we don't know what's going on.
Okay.
But as far as I'm aware, it's still going to happen. I just don't know when. But that's really exciting though. Really, I feel quite lucky.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I have that to look forward to and know that it's still going to happen. Like a lot of people didn't get that, so I kind of count myself a little bit lucky there.
Yeah, I think we all knew that you were destined to be an angel as well at some point.
Probability would say so. The amount of times that I tried for it.
Yeah. It was about time you became an angel.
It was about bloody time after 6 times trying. Come on now, please. They probably just felt sorry for me and like, all right, this time. Go on,
I'm sick of seeing him in auditions. Let's just give him the role.
It was like, here you go, slap on the butt, on your way, go on.
Yeah. So what did you do with your year instead then?
What did I do? What did anyone do with their year instead? Well, I don't know about you guys. I had fun at first. Like the first lockdown, it was great. It was sunny. It was lovely. and it was nice to have time off work and just to kind of like enjoy your hobbies as much as you can, like, you know, catch up on reading, or, you know, catch up on the TV shows or films and stuff that you wanted to watch. So that was really fun, so I did that. And I moved twice over the past year, which is kind of annoying, but also we moved to like incredible places. Like my last house was really, really lovely, and this house that I've moved to, I'm really happy here as well. So it's kind of like, it was a bit like, oh, we have to move, but it ended up being well. But it wasn't until, when was it, Ash, that I had this idea? It was like just before Christmas.
I think so. Yeah, because you started to teach me piano lessons.
Oh yeah, actually, in fairness, you are such a catalyst for this, actually.
I'm Alex's agent, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice.
yeah, that's so right. Yeah, you asked me to teach you piano, so I did, and it was really fun. We should get back to that at some point. Amy, I'll teach you as well. Come on, let's do it. It's a family.
The keyboard downstairs, you know.
Yeah, that'd be so good.
And yeah, and so that was really fun. And then because everyone was starting different businesses, these little side businesses on Instagram and things like that, which is a really good way to spend your time. And also, if you can make money, then that's also a good thing. But also, if it's something you enjoy, that's also another good thing. And I was like, I really want to do one just to fill my time and to just get some kind of enjoyment out of it. And I was like, what can I do? What's my skills? What's my skill set? Forgetting, obviously, that, you know, well, we trained in musical theatre. I have some skills.
You're like, oh, I'm actually quite professional at this.
Oh yeah, I have a degree. I forgot about that. And the idea that I came to was that I would help actors with their audition prep for auditions. So I could be a rehearsal pianist. I could make backing tracks. I could write a script for a scene for their show reel, or all this kind of stuff. So I kind of compiled a list of skills that I can do and turned it into one business, which I called Mission Audition.
Oh, love the name.
Audition. Love it.
Audition. Thank you so much. And I got Jed Berry to do the artwork and the graphic design for it all, and it's all amazing. There's an example. Sorry, for the listeners
cool.
at home, I'm pointing towards the thing on the wall.
Just a thing.
Just a thing.
I wanted to know. It's fine.
And it's doing well. I'm really I think the main thing is I really wanted to enjoy it, and I am. So it's doing really well. And I mean, Ashton always had the faith, so I kind of went on her.
Yeah, I always believed in you, because you spend so much. It's so funny. When we lived in Guildford and we were at drama school together, I would literally be shopping around town and I'd see Alex working in all these different places.
Oh.
Like, in the morning, I don't know, he'd be at like anthropology. Actually, no, I don't think you ever did work at anthropology, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the main one.
Yeah. So I'd see him at anthropology at around 11 a.m. Then I'd go off about my day shopping. 3 p.m. He's at the snog counter in the middle of the shopping centre. And I'm thinking, Alex, weren't you just? And he's like, yeah, this is my second job. I'm here for the afternoon shift.
Oh my god, it was funny. Like that was the time. I think that was the summer between second year and third year, and I had 3 jobs on the go.
Yeah.
I remember that so clearly when Ashley came to the snog. Snog was my 3rd job, like, of it all. And I remember Ashley coming in being like, "You work everywhere."
Yeah, you are honestly everywhere. And there was no one else around. I was like, Alex, are you in charge? And we're like, yeah, it's kind of my first day, but the manager's left me in charge. And you were like, what do you want? What what toppings? And he was preparing me this lovely little frozen yogurt, and he was so confident behind this ice cream stand. You wouldn't think that he hadn't, been there his whole life.
Yeah, that's probably why they left him to it. They thought, hey, I'm going now, bye.
and that's why I have a degree in acting.
Yeah. They can make it.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like the Guildford Monopoly. I was just like kind of owning all these businesses.
Yeah, you were. But that's just it. Like, you've always worked so hard for other people, and I've always said, you have so much to offer. You're such a good, you're so good with people. You make them feel at ease. you're an incredible pianist, incredible singer, and you're also really good at production, editing and making music, that it just felt like all of those skills were, you had them to offer, but you weren't really tapping into them at the time.
Yeah.
So I think it was the baby steps that you needed to kind of dabble in a little bit of like coaching piano, and then you took the plunge and did Mission Audition. And we were saying you work for yourself now, you arrange your own schedule and hours, and we were kind of figuring it out financially as well, and we were like, so many piano lessons a week equals your rent.
Yeah.
When you figure it out in that way, and you figure out, okay, if I was in a minimum wage job working for someone else, this is how many hours I'd need to do, as opposed to working for myself.
I think the biggest thing, and I'll put the question to both of you as well, because I knew that I could do these different things. But it was the confidence. It's the confidence to dive in and to start a business and to sell yourself doing those skills. It's a hard one to kind of have enough confidence to be like, no, I do deserve that kind of payment.
Yeah.
And then like go ahead and do it. What about you guys? Like both of your businesses, how was did you struggle with the confidence at first, or was it like, what was it like for you guys?
Yeah.
Well, Ash, you can go first.
Oh, yeah, it's you have that like imposter syndrome, don't you? Where you think they're going to figure me out. They're going to figure out that they're going to see through me, and they're going to figure out that I'm winging it. But it literally is just, you are winging it to start with, because you have the skills and you have the knowledge and you've done it. And, I think for all of us, what we do comes naturally to us. Singing and recognizing people's abilities and bringing, the best out of people. And for you, Amy, your eye for fashion and design, it's all something that we're born naturally with. But then when it comes to people paying their money to you do feel like you question it, and you think, actually, am I good enough? And, am I worth this amount of money per hour? And I first started teaching privately when I was like, I think I was about 20. I would have people over at my house, and I would go to their houses, and it was such a nervous feeling.
Yeah.
And I started off teaching younger kids, and I think that kind of eased me into it, because, kids, they're not as intimidating as an adult. So that was a good way for me to get into it. And then eventually you just start to gain your stride, and you just start to, get results with people and see genuine change and think, actually, I helped with that, and what I'm doing it's actually working. And then that's when you start to believe in it, and it kind of just grows.
That's so true, actually. I feel like it is kind of like, it's almost like you're coasting at the beginning, and until you get those customers that are like, or those clients that are like, I really appreciate that, it's like, okay, no, I was right.
Definitely. And like, it's same with me, like with my business. I started small, so I was kind of like you. I was on furlough, dabbling in all my hobbies, and I hadn't sewn for about 6 years. So I just was like, oh, I'm just going to go and try and make something. So we decided on obviously making the face masks. And I still, even now, I still think I'm making face masks. And I still don't feel like I should be doing it. I'm a bit like, oh, but it's nice when someone does actually, when you do get it from the customer, they're like, oh, they're really nice quality. And then you kind of like, oh, thank God. Yeah, you get that feeling. You're like, oh, okay. But I still struggle. Like I'm designing now, but what I'm planning on doing is potentially outsourcing the things that I don't feel quite as comfortable with. So while I'm still building my skills, I've started looking at maybe like seamstresses and pattern makers that can help me, because my skills can only kind of take me to a certain place, and then I need the extra help. So it's good, because I was doing like had like a one-to-one the other day, who basically said like, I think it's more a product than anything. It's like, if you think you can do it, but you only feel about 80% of it, like especially in what I'm doing, because I'm trying to hit a luxury audience. Then it makes sense for me to then admit and be like, right, okay, you know, I can give it my all,
Mm,
but I know that I can go and get it made, like in
mm,
London, and do that. So that's kind of what I've been looking at. But I
yeah,
think definitely, like obviously, because you kind of you're more kind of coaching and teaching, and I think that is like kind of what Ashton said. Obviously, the more you do it, the better you get, the more feedback you get. You just feel you get that confidence. So
yeah,
I think
definitely.
and with me, it'll be like the more products that I sell, the better.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
it's a different kind of what's the word? Not appreciation, like
gratification.
gratification. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's right. That's
yeah,
the word. But
definitely.
that's really smart to get the outsourcing to things that you think, well, I think someone else can do it better, and have a list of people that you can do that with.
Yeah.
A client messaged me recently saying, "Oh, do you do guitar backing tracks?" And I don't play the guitar, so it'd be really good for me to kind of have a list of people that are like, "No, I don't. Here's someone that can," or at least,
Mm.
or have someone within Mission Audition that could be like, "Yes, I do.
That'd be
I know,
good.
but this person does."
Yeah, but and
um,
then obviously you get the referral then as well because you're like you'll still always get that initial customer who'll then be like, oh yeah, you know, Alex, he showed me some other person, but he does the lessons, you know, go to him. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's so
That'll be
true.
really good.
Yeah, yeah. There's so much more to owning a business than I even realized. Like the
Yeah.
social media side of it is
Oh, I know. Tell me
tricky.
about it. Yeah.
Like thinking of content and all that kind of stuff, and it's such a learning curve, the whole thing,
That's
Yeah.
which
it.
I like the fact that it's unknown territory, but I'm kind of exploring it myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is like it's a constant learning journey because, you know, you never just like reach a certain level and then you're like, okay, I've kind of peaked, there's nothing left to learn. There's always, I don't know about you guys. Well, Amy, you just said about things that challenge you and then you have to think, okay, who do I reach out to? It's the
Mm.
same with me, you know, something I might have a student come to me. I remember when I first started teaching, I was a bit nervous about boys
Mm,
because obviously the male voice is a little bit different to the female voice. And I know my voice inside out. Therefore, it's really easy to hear a woman's voice and just know. So, you know, you have to learn on the job and kind of figure out, oh, their break is here. And so this is a good way for men to and I've got, you know, a little boy who's 14 and his voice is breaking. So, you know, it's up to me to then away and put the work in and research, you know,
Mm.
how is the best way for me to coach him? And it's always, you know, it's always improving and learning myself to then transfer that on.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And it's interesting that you said before that when you first started out, that you would prefer to teach children rather than adults. Because I feel the opposite, where I prefer teaching adults because I feel like I can be a bit more like I can show the cracks a little bit more. I can be like, you know, if they ask me a question, I'd be like, I don't know, and I can make a joke out of it, and I'd be like, I'm gonna find out, and I'm gonna get back to you next week. Whereas with a child, I feel like I'm supposed to be this constant fountain of knowledge, and if I don't know something, they're gonna be like, you're a fraud.
Oh, no.
Yeah, imagine. Go back to the snog counter.
Go back to your 3 jobs in Guildford.
So this is something we've never spoken about on the podcast, but we've always had the idea. When you come up with an idea, like Mission Audition, you think these are the skills, this is what I'm going to offer, but it's nothing yet. You don't have a social media page, you haven't figured out prices, like you literally just have the bare bones of the idea. What what were your first steps into making it a thing?
uh, First steps into making it a thing. I think the name definitely was one of the first things. And one thing, because I would discuss a lot with Jed actually, and one thing that he taught me, which I quite like, is you know, when you get to a good idea, great, have that good idea, but then keep going and keep like thinking of different ideas, and then if you can think of like 3 different good ideas eventually, and then you can go to the one whichever one you think is the best one. Luckily, Mission Audition was the first good idea that I had, and then he was like, "But keep going anywhere." I was like, "Okay," so carried on going, but then in the end, I was like, "No, I'll go back to that." So that was one of the first things I think, and then like defining exactly what it is that you can do. is and what your business does. That's kind of what I focused on at the beginning. And then pricing's tricky. I don't know about you guys, but pricing's really tricky because what am I worth?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not only what am I worth, but what can my target audience afford as well is really important, because if my target audience are actors, I mean, most actors can't afford, a loaf of bread. So there's no use me charging like hundreds of pounds for a backing track if they can't afford it. So I kind of had to almost underprice my services in a sense, but to reflect the target audience, So I guess they're the three main things that I had to focus on. What about you guys? What was the early things like that for you?
Amy, do you want to?
I go first.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, I didn't really think very much. I didn't think very much when I started it, because I just sort of was learning, like doing it as more of a learning curve, and to prove to myself that I can still sew and I can still pattern. But yeah, I think the first thing that I came up with was, for me, it was all the customer. So it was like, I wanted to make a product that is going to be comfy. And obviously when we first started wearing these face coverings, when did it, like end of last year, sort of, they were really horrible. They were uncomfortable. You had to wear them for ages, and I just didn't like them. So I just went through as many different ways of making the face coverings as I could, until I was happy with the way that they were and they were comfy. And then I had to go through all the materials, and that was like my starting point, because I didn't want to get I didn't kind of want to worry about a name and a brand, because if I couldn't get the product, then there was no brand. So that was my start. It was literally just make them comfy, so that I'm happy with them, and then I'll just sort of made a few for like Ashton, and my other sisters got a few, and they were like, we're happy with it. And I was like, right, okay. So then it was time that I started looking at name, website, and that was it really, naming the website. I didn't put much thought into it, because it was more a hobby, whereas now I'm starting to think of it more as a business, which is why I'm looking at outsourcing and getting things made, because I've been working with like a fashion coach, and she's really helping me turn it into a proper business, because at the minute I'm a one-man band sewing in my office, filming everything, and it's not scalable. So if I want to actually make money, then I really need to look now at growing and getting the product, because I want to be luxury. So my pricing is gonna go up quite a lot. Right. So so that's how I started really, and it's growing, which is good.
Is there a difference in timescale of like when you first started making them? Like, how long did it take you to make your first one, and how long did it take you to make one now? Has that changed at all?
If anything, it takes me longer now. Originally, because when I started, I didn't, I didn't need nose clips, and I didn't need adjustable toggles. I was just making them kind of bog standard. Yeah. But as I've learnt more and realised, I want to be, if I want to make money as an independent designer, then I need to be charging a premium. So now, obviously, it takes me longer because there's more that goes into the product. Right. But it's really good because Matt, who's my partner, he helps me. So because he works 9 to 5, and obviously I work full time on it. So when he's just walking in the door, when he's free, he'll cut out for me, which saves me it saves me quite a lot of time. So, but yeah, I'd say it takes me about 5 hours for one mask. That's literally from cutting. Yeah, and it's like you said, I'm really underpricing myself as well. Right. But you've got to do what you've got to do.
It's true. Yeah, just don't divide it into how much you're getting paid per hour. Like Don't do that with mine.
No, exactly. Not until you're at that point where you can scale and you can be like, right, okay, I'm going to introduce more now.
Yeah, exactly. What about you, Ash? What was your kind of main things at the beginning that you had to focus on?
I think mine, because as I said, I already had been teaching singing for quite a few years, and a lot of my students came from Stagecoach, so I teach at Stagecoach on a weekend. So I was lucky to have connections with parents already, and quite a lot of the kids that were in my local area, and they knew me as like, oh, she's the singing teacher who works there, and so it was really nice to already be connected in that kind of like word of mouth sense. But I had no online presence and no kind of, I wasn't very business minded, So when it came to payments and arranging lessons, I would just send a text message and be like, yeah, I'll come round at this time. And then I would get paid cash in hand. And it was all very casual,
Yeah.
So I think my thinking was, we're in a pandemic now. I can't do mobile teaching, so I need to kind of market myself virtually and figure out how to attract people online. So I made an Instagram page, made a Facebook page, which was kind of fun as well because I got into making posts that weren't just necessarily about singing. It kind of became more holistic. So I could incorporate my love for fitness in my Instagram page and talk about, how the body and the posture and, certain muscle groups can help with singing and how it all links. So yeah, mine was mainly let's make it professional. Let's make an email template and have, let's get a 24-hour cancellation policy in place and have set prices, and then it kind of just became structured as opposed to, yeah, I'll teach you on Friday. What time works for you?
Yeah, that's good. It's a good
Yeah.
it's a good time as well to be starting a business because so many people are, well, there's pros and cons obviously, but like because so many people are, you've got a lot of people to be like, how did you do this, and what's your pricing for that, and oh, you have a cancellation policy, how do you kind of enforce that, like blah, blah, blah. And so you've got people to call on to help you out, which is really good.
I think that's good. I think with the pandemic as well, it's completely changed like certain industries. Like my industry's completely changed now, fashion. It's like everyone's like shop local, support small. So there's quite a lot of opportunities that have been opened up, and I think like it's just completely different now. It's my coach was saying she thinks that Selfridges are going to start stocking like quite a lot of young designers, like new brands. So I'm gearing up.
That's so exciting. That's so cool.
So it has. It's exciting stuff. It's all changed.
It's given so many businesses and big businesses as well an opportunity to kind of slow down or change direction or include the smaller people or whatever. It's had obviously a lot of cons, this pandemic, but a lot of things can come out of it and have come out of it, which is really exciting.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of things that have come out of it, Alex, you've written so much. You've got a new album concept that you've been sending me tracks from. Do you want to tell people about your album?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I thought I should tell you work on it for a while.
That took you by surprise, didn't it? Were you not expecting it?
No, I wasn't expecting you to talk about that.
You were like, I have an album.
Do I? I write? What? No. I had this idea for ages that I wanted to make a conceptual album that was kind of like electronic pop, I guess. That was, the concept was it's almost like a game. I don't know if you play games, Amy, or have played games, like console games.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to follow the typical journey of like a console game. So like, for example, the first song is going to be called Press Start, because obviously on the PlayStation you press start, or on any game you press start. And it would kind of follow that journey of that character within a game, defeating the big bad boss and getting low on health and all that kind of stuff. And I wanted to do different songs that reflected that, but also that reflected things that were going on in my life. So with Press Start, for example, the first song, that is about wanting someone to press start on me and to start my life going and get me going in my career and everything like that. And so that, yeah, so each track will kind of represent a different stage in that. Yeah, that's
Oh,
kind
that
of
sounds really lovely. Like, that sounds really nice. Where can you listen to it? Do you have like, are you on Instagram or
it's still
YouTube?
in production. No,
Oh, no sneak
no,
peek.
no sneak peek.
I'll have to play you some of his voice notes that you sent me, Amy.
Yeah. I'll get Ashton to show you. I'm not posting anything, not yet. Later on, you'll hear me on Spotify. I'll be in the charts. You'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously, yeah, definitely. Number one. Oh yeah.
Number one, straight to number one. Yes.
Yeah.
Press start.
I'll be like Billie Eilish. Everything done from my bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So
And you've also been writing a musical.
Yeah, writing a musical. I've got working with my dear friend Laurie Denman, and who's going to be the musical director, and I've got a producer, Dean Johnson. I mean, again, this is very early stages, so there's nothing set in stone at all. But writing a musical that's using the music of My Chemical Romance, which is really exciting, using their Black Parade album, and yeah, and that's. I mean, I won't go too much into that because I want to keep the audience wanting more. I think. But I mean, that's been such a great thing to focus on as well. Something like to be creative with and just see where it goes, see where it leads. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think that you would have done all of this if you went and did Kinky Boots?
Yes. I mean, all the writing ideas I kind of just store in my head, and I'm like, we'll get to that at some point. I mean, in terms of the musical, I did a workshop of it just before I was supposed to go. So literally, it was early February, I think. I had a day where I just kind of workshopped the opening and got like a cast of people in to come and do the opening scene and song, and just have a mess about with it. And so obviously at that point I thought I was going away, and I was like, that's fine, I'll get that done. I'll go do Kinky Boots. I'll spend time on the ship working on it as well, and then I'll come back and we can dive right back into it. But this time has been great to kind of try out ideas and write some stuff down and just stop and have the time to do it. Whether I actually utilize that time well is another question.
Oh, we all say that. We all say, don't blame ourselves.
I know, literally like a year and 2 months. So what did you do? Nothing!
Yeah. Oh, amazing. And then before we finish, I wanted to ask you about, you've been doing a lot more drag recently.
Yeah, you kind of not out of choice, really.
Yeah.
It's like auditions will kind of come up and it's like, we want you to do drag, and it's like, I'm not a drag queen, but all right. But yeah, I mean, because I was going to go do Kinky Boots, I was nearly pretty much in that crowd of people. So to mention him again, I swear every podcast I do, every single one that I do with Grace, I mentioned Jed Berry. Jed Berry is always there.
Yeah, Jed Berry. Well, Jed Berry did my artwork too, so I'll give him a shout out. Yeah, amazing work. If you want any graphic designing done, Jed's your guy.
I'm not the word with Jed. I need a new logo.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, he's so good at many things, and one of them is he put on a cabaret, an online cabaret.
Oh, it was brilliant.
It was fun, wasn't it?
Yes.
And so he got loads of angels because Jeb was in Kinky Boots, so he got loads of past angels, present angels, and future angels, i.e. me, to kind of take part and do whatever they wanted to do. So I did a parody of "I Will Survive" by Gloria Gaynor, and changed the words so that it was kind of all lockdown related, and dressed up in drag and just made a fool of myself, basically.
Sounds well fun.
It was iconic.
You can find the video for it on my Instagram at Alexander T. Gage.
There you go. And his new album will be on there soon.
On Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
But yeah.
So amazing. So do you have any, I don't know, advice or anything that you want to share before we wrap it up for, I guess, anyone who has an idea for a business, or I don't know.
Well, in terms of a business, I attended the seminar that I work at One Rebel as well. So like that's other jobs. No, One Rebel, which is a gym, and our CEO did a seminar for people that were wanting to start a business, and he did a seminar about how to and giving advice and stuff like that. And I really liked his advice of he said, just starting a business is scary, and you just have to kind of dive into it and just start it, whether you're ready or not, whether you like we were just talking about before, like confidence wise, blah blah blah. If you've got the skills, then just dive headfirst into it, because you can learn along the way. And that's and it's interesting that you said that, because I then had that experience of like, I wasn't 100% polished, and I wasn't this perfect product at the beginning. I'm still not, but the more I went along, I remember the first track that I did, the first backing track that I created for someone, it was a good track. I was really proud of it. But since then, I've worked out how to make it like much more perfect than that was. And it was great to kind of go back to that track and actually then tweak it to everything that I've been able to do for the future tracks and stuff. But my point is that you don't have to be that polished product straight away. You can learn along the way and gather knowledge and just make yourself better and better every day. So just go for it and go 100% into it.
Yeah, absolutely, because there'll never be a time where you feel fully ready.
No, exactly. You're never going to be in that 100%, like you've got everything nailed, like everything down to the T. I mean, some people maybe, like, and that's absolutely amazing, but you don't have to be at all, because I certainly wasn't.
No, me neither.
And look at me now. I'm on the front cover of Forbes. My business is booming.
I'd love to see that.
Just like this headshot of me, like
I can picture it. Honestly.
Mission Audition in big letters.
Yeah.
Do you have like a social presence for Mission Audition yet?
Yeah, so I conduct my business out of through Instagram. It's at Mission Audition, as a matter of fact.
There we go. We'll get on that.
Get on that. Have a look. Check me out. I've posted like clips of tracks and stuff. I posted my price list is on there and everything. All the information's on there, so go check it out.
Yeah, amazing.
Love it.
Oh, thanks so much for coming on the podcast, Al.
No, thank you so much for having me, guys.
It's really lovely.
It's been a real pleasure.
Oh, you guys, I love you both.
Oh, we love you.
No, I love you.
No, I love you. All right, let's wrap it now, shall we? Enough now. All right, well, yeah, guys, we hope you've enjoyed this episode. We'll link everything below. We'll link all of Alex's Instagram handles and everything, as always. And we'll see you all next week.
Amazing. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.